Yes, please come in, Mr. Swapnil.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. You are Mr. Swapnil Jagannath Pawar.
Yes, sir.
You are from Nashik, Maharashtra.
Yes, sir.
You belong to a very prominent family. That means prominent surname.
Yes,
Pawar.
sir.
Please sit down.
Thank you, sir.
How is the political scenario in Maharashtra? Because the name Pawar is associated with the political upheavals and political very much what we can say. You know that what I mean to say.
Sir, Sharad Pawar you are talking about is
Yes.
head of NCP,
Yes.
and he has formed the government in the Maharashtra. When in the Maharashtra there was a pre-poll alliance between two national parties, but they broke down, and after that they formed the government with other parties, and that was in news basically.
Yes. Nashik is a cool place, and the environment that Nashik is endowed with is responsible for its progress and growth. Is it true?
Yes, sir. Nashik is endowed with rich water sources. River Godavari originates near the Nashik, and some areas of Nashik receive the rainfall, highest rainfall in Maharashtra. So, in natural resources wise, Nashik is rich, I'll say. But the development could not happen as much faster as compared to other regions, I will say, as compared to Pune, because of the some political negligence, I'll say.
Okay, political negligence. That means you mean to say that Nashik could have been industrially a developed place, but political apathy is there, and that's why Nashik is not growing.
Yes, I'll say that Nashik could have been much developed city. It is already a part of Golden Triangle with Mumbai and Pune, but it is not as developed as compared to Pune and Mumbai.
But some other factors may have been responsible for the backwardness of the Nasik as compared to Pune, and you may be attesting them with the name of political apathy.
So there are always factors which inhibit the growth in any particular region, such as human development abilities, and then some factors like some resources, like for example electricity or something like that. But Nashik is rich with that. However, the political push is not given to the development of Nashik.
That means you mean to say that everywhere in India, wherever political industrial development is there, it is just only because of political will.
No, sir, but political will plays a very crucial factor in any development activities, I will say.
The people of Nashik must be thinking about their development, especially the development of their town, and they may be pushing their political leaders that they should do something for the growth of Nashik. Aren't we?
Yes, sir. There are dissent in the people of Nashik regarding the development. I'll say that many section of people were happy because the NCP come to power instead of BJP. As NCP give more thrust to development, I'll say that.
In the administrator's point of view, what problems you have noticed in Nasik? Because Nasik is one of the greater town of Maharashtra, and I want to understand the problems faced by the towns of Maharashtra, cities of Maharashtra, through the problems of Nasik.
So, if you see the Nashik in particular, some infrastructure development, for example, the rail connectivity to South India is not good. Also, the air connectivity is a problematic, which is inhibiting the growth of IT industry as well as some important industry. For them, regional connectivity is very important.
Nasik is the important pilgrimage center, and Kumbh Mela is held regularly there. In my opinion, when we are living in the age of science and technology, and on one side we are thinking about reaching the moon and exploring the far places in the universe, then why we should be celebrating such type of things which are Puranic or which are just mythological, and they have no practical relevance in today's life? Why the government should spend thousands and crores of rupees on it?
So the point is, government does not spread the thousands of crore for the promoting any religion. What it does spread on the infrastructure improvement, because in the Kumbh Mela is largest religious gathering in the world. Crores of people visit during that festival, and to facilitate the movement of people, we spend money. So I will not say that we spend the money on religious spending. And coming to faith question, religion and faith, it is all to individuals. Religion is originated with the human. There are functions of religion in anthropological terms. It helps to cope up with the sudden loss of the life, and people find peace in the religion. So if individual is having a faith in religion, it's just fine. There is a difference of opinion between different people, but we cannot say that people should not follow the religion.
What is other importance of Kumbh Mela? That means in what way Kumbh is important to us?
Kumbh Mela, apart from the religious importance, also generate a lots of economic activity. One of the reports says that it generates more than 3,000 to 4,000 crores of business activity during the 3 or 4 months, because more than 10 million or 20 million people visit in Nasik alone, or if we see the Allahabad, it is on very higher scale, that almost 100 million people visit the city.
And if I want to know its social and cultural importance to India, and if I say that without Kumbh, India could have been a very isolated place. The people couldn't be visiting the places where they visit normally, because people come together on account of Kumbh. The coming together of the people becomes a platform for the exchange of ideas, exchange of cultural traits, etc. And India evolves. Kumbh is the cause that India has evolved. In the same way, Maharashtra Dharma movement, you must have read it. The Pandharpur movement, also called it as Pandharpur movement. Pandharpur movement has been responsible for the evolution of Maharashtra. In the same way, Kumbh helps people come together, join together, exchange their views, ideas, and the nation is formed, the state is formed. So we need such type of events, social gatherings, for the for keeping the fabric of India intact. Otherwise, other things would be generating an income and financial, commercial things, etc. We should see things in evolutionary point of view. India has evolved as a nation only on account of these things. Okay, it's a nice thing. But being an engineer, I am very surprised that you have been meritorious engineer. You have been awarded several prizes through your career. And you could have been a great asset to the field of engineering if you were working there. But I am really finding myself surprised, because leaving this field, which is far glorious for you, and it may be offering very glorious opportunity to you, still you are entering into service where it is there constant political pressure is there, constant transfers are there, and you may be appointed in such remote areas of the country where you may be feeling yourself nervous or frustrated that where you have been. Because we have seen on many occasions the civil servants enter in the civil services finding that they would be having a very glorious career, but when they are appointed in Mizoram and Tripura and other places, they feel that it is very dismal, very boring or mundane thing. So this is my question to you.
Sir, I'll say that my achievements in engineering only enhance my credibility for being a better civil servant.
Yes.
And coming on the point of this is the job of civil servant, that you have to travel to each and every corner of the country. And civil services itself mean that you have to work for the people. So that could be located in any part of the country, maybe Andaman Nicobar Islands as well. And the one who is preparing for this exam and one who is preparing for the civil service knows this before entering the civil servant. So I'll say that I'm not complaining about that they have given me posting in Nagaland or Arunachal Pradesh, because I know my responsibility very well.
You say in the last statement, the religion gives the peace.
Yes.
So how do you justify the communal violence, religious violence, low jihad like this?
So communal violence or religious violence cannot be justified on any ground. Every religion teaches us the peace and love of, but however there are extremist element in any I'll say any ideology, not just a religion. If we say the communism or socialism or capitalism, there are extremist elements. But religion, people have so much embedded themselves in the religion that they get more extremist as compared to other streams. But I'll say that religious violence cannot be justified on any ground.
Your father is a rickshaw driver.
Yes.
And there is one issue highlighting from 2 to 3 years or from decades in India and in the world, the road safety.
Yes.
So as your father is also a rickshaw driver, you are also chemical engineer. So how do you see what are the precautions taken by administration for the road safety?
So the recent law of, I do not remember the exact name, but the guidelines and rules have been more stringent now. If you don't have a license, the fine went from 500 rupees to 10,000 rupees. So I think the increase in the fine amount will be a greater deterrence for the public. But what we need is mass general awareness regarding the road safety. Because you can pass any legislation, you can make any rules, but if people don't follow it, we cannot enforce it effectively, I'll say.
But that fine, 5,000, 10,000, you do not think it is too much, or it may create a black economy or corruption?
Sir, the fine is basically meant for deterrence and not for revenue generation. If someone is get fined for on 1 or 2 times that he has to pay 10,000 rupees or 5,000
But
rupees.
as a common man, when you are knowing this fact, then other people would also be knowing this fact. And ultimately it has become meaningless that the government has put these so huge fines. The fines are just, are not fines in real sense.
So even in black money, if we say, if the original fine has increased about 5,000 rupees, then black money amount will also increase at least to 1,000 rupees, I'll say. So that will be deterrence.
Any other thing that, according to you, as an engineer, which will be helpful for the prevention of the road accident?
So the design of the roads, mostly in ghats. Now we have seen the many accidents happen in Mumbai-Pune Expressway, especially ghat section, because the design is not much proper. There is a term called angle of banking, which should be very proper, so that cars can fly at 100 km per hour. So the design should be looked upon, I'll say.
Swapnil, if you are appointed as a district collector of Nasik,
Yes.
then how you manage the event like Kumbh Mela?
So event like Kumbh Mela are mass gathering, so there are multiple avenues which we must be addressed to. First of all is the logistic arrangement for the huge number of people traveling. So I'll take the account of how many buses are plying between Nasik and other cities, then railways and air connectivity as well. Then the second important thing is the health, because when mass this comes, then there are health issues. So I'll take care of these commonly spreading viruses should not be.
And what about the corona?
Yes, sir. Corona. Sir, the coronavirus has not found any vaccine as of now. So the best thing is to prevent the disease from spreading up. So the important task is to isolate the people who has been suspected of having the coronavirus. And we have seen that news are already spreading up that you should be isolated, this mass gathering should be avoided. And if the situation goes out of hand, we can use the Article 144 of IPC that 2 people mass gathering cannot be taken place.
You already told that.
That means he wants to impose curfew all over India.
Sir, if the situation goes to out of hand.
But wouldn't it be against the will of the people?
Sir, but even our constitution provides for the what I'll say the fundamental rights could be avoided, could be curbed upon if the public safety is on.
But rather than creating an awareness, how can we be enforcing trade and we suppressing the will of the people? Because if we do not seek the cooperation of the masses in fighting the menace or fighting the epidemic, we would not be successful. So it's people who should be made aware that what problem they are facing in future and in what way they should cooperate with the government or administration. And we should be having faith in our people that they would be cooperating with us and they would be supporting us, responding us positively. So we should be optimistic.
Yes, sir. That will be the first priority. But if situation goes out of hand, we need to take such measures.
It should be the last resort.
Yeah, that will be a last policy.
So you already told that you are ready to go, whether it is Nagaland or Andaman.
Yes.
Then why do you opted for Zone 3 as your preference?
Sir, while giving the preference, I opted on the various parameters. First of all, the opportunity of work. It is not. We know that opportunity of work is not same across the country. That Nagaland and Arunachal Pradesh have different issues as compared to the.
That means there are very less opportunities of work
Yes,
as compared to Zone 3.
No, sir. I'll say there are scope of opportunity is different, and if I also need to.
You want to work where the conditions are familiar. Unfamiliar environments would not be helping you to work.
No, sir. Familiar condition will only help me to boost my performance. I'll say. It is not like I cannot work
But
in
on many
unfamiliar
occasions
condition.
we have seen that in familiar environments, the relatives and friends and the close ones pressurize bother the officer that they should work for them rather than for the masses. And the officer succumbs to the pressures, emotional pressures, etc. And he becomes a victim of the non-performance. So wouldn't it be the case with you?
No, sir. I don't see that case will happen to me, because the officers which fall for this are ethically, I'll say, ethically are not that much correct. That's why these kind of things are. Corruption is basically ethical problem.
And being the student of anthropology, in what way you would be extending or implementing the policies of the government, the Andaman Nicobar, without affecting the lives of the tribals living there, aborigines living there?
So Andaman Nicobar has a very special case. It is home to largest PVTGs group, particularly vulnerable tribal groups such as Sentinelese and Orauns, which are isolated from the society since millennial. And Sentinelese islands, the best way is to keep them isolated, because they have their own way of life, and they are hostile to general population in general.
How can we be using this term, hostile to the general population? We may be hostile to them. How can you be using them that they are hostile?
So in recent times, whenever society has tried to make contact with them, they have a history of killing them.
Don't you think that the term hostile is a selfish term?
Maybe there will be another word, but I don't know.
Swapnil, what is Citizen Charter?
So Citizen Charter is a declaration of duties of that office, and what services it offers to the people. And it helps the office to perform its duties in a time-bounded and efficient manner.
Okay. And what about the citizen-centric administration?
So citizen-centric administrator focus its activities on the citizen, facilitating the citizens. For example, taking the birth certificate, for example, the citizen-centric government will think about how the citizen can get this very easily, as compared to its own easiness.
Do you support right to recall?
Yes, I do support right to recall.
What are the reasons behind that?
Sir, lots of our information that we send to our smartphone and other IT services, it can be misused after some time. It may be required at that time, but after some time, we don't know who is using our information on the server, and maybe someone from America or any part of the world can be use our information, and that is contrary to our privacy rights. So I'll say the right to recall is
You are not getting the question.
Right to
I
recall.
am talking about right to recall regarding the politics or the elections.
Political leaders,
So there is a right to recall.
misinterpreted the question.
Okay.
okay. Sorry, there is a right to recall in data privacy law also. That recently
Okay,
passed.
okay.
Okay. So
But still, we got another information.
okay. So I'm sorry, sir.
Okay, would you be supporting recall then?
Political.
Huh?
Sir,
Anna Hazare, Mr. Political activist Anna Hazare is demanding that the government or the Indian state should be provided with the provision of recall, which is the tool of direct democracy. So, what's your opinion about recall?
so the right to recall will be a very good step in introduction of direct democracy in India, actually. But its implementation will be very difficult, as India has more than 1.7 billion population, and even conducting an election is itself a massive task. So a right to recall, if it is having a good thought, but implementation will be very difficult and very costly in economic terms as well.
You already had work in NGO Bhumi.
Yes.
What is the role of this NGO?
So the NGO Bhumi works in education sector and animal rights. It imparts the education to economically underprivileged children, like for example the children of prostitutes.
And which is the source of your NGO? That means the NGO with which you are working. From where it is funded?
It has got domestic funding also only. It is not foreign funded as well.
Why it is not acquiring foreign funds? Because many NGOs are acquiring foreign funds.
There is no wrong in acquiring the foreign funds, but Mumbai is not that much evolved yet, and it hasn't got any foreign funding.
How you will be evaluating NGOs as their role in the development of India?
So I'll say the NGO has played a very significant role in the development of India. Many NGOs are working in the field of education, health, and then providing the special services to tribal areas. We have seen the example of Baba Saheb Amte from the Gadchiroli district. And
then how you would be availing the help of NGOs when you would be appointed as a district collector in the tribal regions of Odisha or some eastern states?
So my first step will be to call NGOs for meeting and ask them what problems they are facing, and if the government can do something to facilitate their working in the area. That will be very good step from the government, even if we do that. And we can collaborate our programs and policies. For example, development activities could be in collaboration with NGOs. And
from your profile, it is known that you have been good leadership qualities. So how you would be characterizing Indian leadership? That means modern or today's scenario, if we are considering, then how can you be characterizing our leadership?
So I'll say the Indian leadership is very positive in the field of development, and if you see the different areas of society today, the foreign economy, there is a slowdown, but policy parameters okay. Then even foreign policy is also we are going in very positive direction.
The suicides of farmers in Maharashtra has been increasing continuously, despite the government has waived the loans and provided the measures. What actually, in your opinion, are the prime reasons of the suicides?
So the prime reason of suicide in Maharashtra, farmer suicide, is the indebtedness. But there has been other factors as well, psychological factors, such as the family problems, such as the intoxication with alcoholism, I'll say, then use of tobacco and all other intoxicants. And also in Maharashtra, there is a gap between expectations and reality. Means the farmers expect much more than what is on the ground situation, and when it not happen, then they break down and many times they may perform the suicides.
In your profile, there are also some events to manage. So what is the difference between the good leader and event manager?
So leader is lead by example. And management is just managing the work, means telling your subordinates to do this work or allocate the work to them. But leader does not do that. It tells them how to do that work efficiently or in great manner or in a different manner, I'll say.
Some opposition leader also blame our Prime Minister that he is not a leader, he is an event manager. So what is your opinion?
Prime Minister has been, for me, Prime Minister has been a leader as compared to event manager, I'll say. What is my opinion is he has given a good autonomy to its cabinet's minister. We have seen the example of Nitin Gadkari, is doing fantastic work, for example, in infrastructure development, I'll say. So I don't see that.
Is it the only example or one of the examples?
One of the examples.
Okay.
So I don't see him as an event manager, but I see him as a leader.
Would event managers be good leaders?
In political leadership, you need a leader rather than event manager, because many times the political decisions can be very problematic, and there is you require the courage to take that decision.
So don't you think that political leaders are the great resource managers?
Yes, political leader must be great resource manager, otherwise they will not be as effective as they should be. And it is not like they are segregated from the leadership and management role. They must do both the roles co-currently, I'll say.
Okay. So your father name is Jagannath.
Yes.
Jagannath temple is situated in Orissa.
Yes.
So how do you look the eastern part of the India?
How do you?
Look eastern part of India, maybe in the development, under development or developing.
So the eastern part of India is underdeveloped as compared to other regions, mostly the west and southern part, but there are reasons behind it. The eastern part is very much rich in natural resources. Odisha, West Bengal, Chhattisgarh, they are rich in minerals, but the industry has not been developed, and there are some policy lukane are there. For example, the mineral policy in past, it allows for the similar taxation all over the country for the minerals. That's why the industry could not be developed in the eastern part of the region, and that's why even if having the resources, this part could not be developed. And there's a substantial tribal population in this area. That is also the
This region is have more development opportunity.
yes, it has, but it developed properly.
Political will is there, is not there.
Yes, a political and policy, all factors are at a play.
Swapnil, you opted for Indian Foreign Service as your first preference. What incidences promotes you to choose Indian Foreign Service as a career?
So I want to be diplomat. I want to represent India all across the world, especially at the United Nations. That is my dream.
From your profile,
Yes,
it is known that you are the leader and you are a diplomatic person continuously. So, what the best qualities that the diplomat requires?
Yes.
So diplomat requires the ability to learn. The important duty of diplomat is to report the back home the development activities in the country which is posted in. So if you're not able to learn the all political economic activities which could influence Indian interests, then he's no use. So I'll say that will be the first thing.
How can you be evaluating the role of diplomats in making India the superpower?
So as India progress and as we economically and even politically progress, the role of diplomacy is only going to increase. Our interest, for example, our energy security is mostly depend upon the West. Then our strategic securities depend upon our neighborhood, for example, China and Pakistan, what they are doing. So diplomat been playing a very important role to showcase the India's interest to all these players.
If you are selected as Indian foreign officer, so which region would be most preferred region for you? Whether it is America, North America, Latin America, Africa, or Europe or Eastern Asia?
So Europe, I would say.
Europe. So you are preferring best regions. whether Europe, Western Europe, Eastern Europe.
So I want to be first country of choice is Spain.
Spain.
Yeah.
Okay, there are many diplomats
Yes.
become Prime Minister of the India. Recently, our External Affairs Minister is also former diplomat. So how do you look diplomat and the political leader?
So I'll say that would be a positive step because the diplomats have a specialized knowledge in the field of external relations, and the foreign minister should be trained in that relation, because the diplomacy is very different field as compared to a normal administration. It requires a very different skill set. So if the foreign minister having that skill set and coming from diplomacy, it is not negative.
But to become a minister, one requires diverse skills. That means not only a particular skill. Because a diplomat is just a resource, but minister is a resource manager.
Yes.
So how can we be terming this incident that the former diplomat is appointed as the foreign minister? So we should be judicious in appointing people as the ministers. We should have given some more chance to the diplomat to acquire the experience of the world. Then we should have given the opportunity to him to become a minister. So don't you think that the Prime Minister has made a haste in taking this decision?
So I'll not say if I don't know whether the Prime Minister has made a haste or on what parameters he has made a decision. But his the first term of government, the Minister of External Affairs was a political leader, and in his second terms he has given chance to diplomat. So we cannot say that he has made a haste. He must have arrived at that decision after after assessing the all points, I'd say.
Until now you are assessing his work as the best work.
So
Because on many 2 or 3 occasions, India has been criticized, especially our own country members have criticized the act of the diplomat, that he should not have acted in such manner. You may be recalling these incidents.
Yes.
Last few months back. Are you recollecting?
Yes, sir. He has cancelled the meeting with the US's.
Yes.
So, isn't it the incidents, what we can say, example, that the person is not having the maneuvering, political maneuvering, or he just a diplomat?
Assessing his personal achievement, we must give him time because it's already only 1 year since he has become not even 1 year since he has become the External Affairs Minister, and the particular incident could be a reason of the ideology and what government stands for. He cancelled the meeting because government stands for the Jammu and Kashmir is an internal matter of India, and Congress minister or the member of USS Congress should not raise that issue. But we cannot, I think, on isolated incident judge the performance of the minister.
In Kumbh Mela, you say that tourism can boost up the economy of the India. Recently, economic survey highlight assemble in India. So, do you think tourism can give more employment opportunity than the assemble in India? Or we should focus only on the tourism sector rather than other sectors?
So I will not say we should focus only on one sector because economy is made up of several sectors. But tourism in particular is one of the most employment giving industry all across the world. And there is a quite potential in India to become one of the most visited tourist destinations in the world because we have so many regions, so many cultures and so many historical monuments to showcase the world. So if we develop the tourism industry, it is only good for us. In employment terms as well as it provides a higher revenues in dollars, I'll say.
You completed your graduation in engineering, okay, chemical engineering, and you are now entering into the civil services.
Yes.
Then how this your education of chemical engineering is useful in the administration?
So chemical engineering in general comprises of various fields. For example, it teaches us the cost optimization, economics of the chemical plant. But economics in general is applicable to all sectors, not just only chemical plants.
Okay.
And oil and gas, which is a core part of the chemical engineering, is very important part of India's economy as well. We are heavily dependent upon our oil and gas industry for our imports as well as exports. So having experience of oil and gas will definitely be important, be boosting my performance as a civil servant if I get chance to become a chairman of PSU in future, which I can.
Okay. We already know that the district collector is responsible for maintaining law and order in the district. What do you mean by law and order?
So law and order to me is citizen abiding by the law according to provisions of the law, and order is general order, I'll say.
If you want to explain this term to the layman or common man that what law and order is, in what way you can be simplifying in the definition? Not the bookish definition. Common man, in what way the common man will be understanding?
Law is a...
Don't put these things in law and order in such fashion. Just create the environment where people are living comfortably without any hurdle.
Yes.
That they are getting their requirements satisfactorily without any hurdle, obstacle. This is what law and order is. If you cannot move on the roads in the night, what you will be terming? Arey yaar, yahan kuch law and order hai ki nahi? This is what, if you move or travel without any problem, if you are getting the food, if you are getting the treatment without any problem, ultimately there is a law and order. Yes. If all these things are not provided in timely manner, or if someone is intimidating you that you should not, then this is not law and order. So creating an environment where people are comfortable. This is what law and order. So your father is a rickshaw driver.
Yes.
And considering this scenario, he works in the unorganized sector. So what measures the government has done so far for the safety and welfare of the members of the workers in the unorganized sector?
So recently government has announced a pension scheme for the unorganized sector called as a Shramdan Yogi Yojana. So the pension will be provided at very nominal cost to unorganized sector. That will be very helpful in their old age sector. The second thing is government is trying for converting the unorganized sector to organized sector through skill development such as the Pradhan Mantri Kaushalya Vikas Yojana. The recently state Maharashtra government in budget is opting for the scholarship for the youth who have studied the up to 12th standard and the that's the thing.
You must have then availed the facility that the government has provided to your father.
Yes, sir.
So what facility your father has availed?
So he has opted for the Atal Bihari Vajpayee life insurance scheme.
Life in. Then what is the premium of that scheme?
So it is around 240 rupees per year, and road accident is 12 rupees per year.
Have you insured yourself?
So I have insured with private insurance, but not government insurance.
Not government. That means you believe in private insurance company rather than government.
No, sir.
So government is coming ahead to sell the LIC. Huh?
No, sir. I have opted for a different scheme which was not given by the.
Okay, but many people in India are very wondering why the profit-making enterprise of the nation is being sold by the government. That means at least government is paying.
Like BPCL
Yes, sir.
recently.
So what government is doing is a distressed sale of PSUs. But unfortunately, they are also selling the profit-making PSUs. But there are several reasons behind it. They are thinking about if the company is in profit, there will be a higher chance of getting more revenue by selling the PSU as compared to distressed PSU. Like we have seen the Air India, government has to lower down the bid and extend the various schemes for the selling the Air India. So it should not happen. And there is also political call to raise the revenue for bridging the fiscal deficit. That shouldn't be happening.
But why government should sell? Because if the enterprises are for profit making and if they are providing benefits to the government, why the government should sell?
So many PSUs we have seen their performance decline. For example, the Air India.
But we would be thinking after their decline now, when the performance is very, very good, how can we be anticipating that their performance would be declined? Certainly. Why shouldn't we be optimistic that their performance would be continuously going on and on?
But sir, there is also a point that as India is moving to more capitalistic economy, the government should not be involved in.
But we are a socialist country. In our preamble, we have mentioned that India is a socialist state.
Yes, sir. But economically, we are moving towards more free economy since our reforms in 1991. And even government calls for less government and more governance. The focus is on governance. So that's why there is a policy shift that PSU should be. Government should decrease its stake in PSUs, all the PSUs.
Swapnil, what is your hobby?
So my hobby is to know about the updates in smartphone industry as well as reading fiction.
Fictions.
Yes.
You must have read any fiction by recently in recent
Yes.
times. Which is that?
So I mostly read in Marathi, and recently I read the novel from new writer called Saurabh Wagre. He has written the stories about detective Alpha. Yes.
That you must have read the stories of Sherlock Holmes.
Yes.
Who had written these stories?
So Sherlock Holmes is written by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
Arthur Conan Doyle. And what was the central theme of the stories?
So the story revolves around the detective Sherlock Holmes and its assistants, his assistant Watson, and how they solve the different mystery cases of murders.
And you must have read some fictions from United States, the authors from United States, etc.
Yes.
Some names.
So I've read the John Grisham and then this J.J. Martin. He has
Have you read Alchemist?
Yes, I read The Alchemist.
What is the central theme of Alchemist?
So the central theme of Alchemist is to follow your dream, follow your passion. There will be some hurdles to achieve your dreams, but one who is determined to achieve his dream will get his dream.
But fictions are distant from realities, and you continuously indulge, at least you like to indulge in fictions, and then you will be requiring to face the realities of the administration. How you will be balancing your fictional life and real life?
So the one thing which fiction has taught to me and which has led to me this up to this stage is seeing the bigger dreams. Because fiction takes you to a different world where you can freely see the dreams, and if you don't see the dreams, you cannot achieve the reality. I'll say.
Then what is your dream now?
So I have vision of one of the most powerful person in the world when I die, and civil service is one of the way through which I can achieve that vision.
Okay, how can civil service will enable you to make the one of the richest or most powerful
Persons.
But what power is to you? That means, what is power?
So power to me is influencing people in very positive way.
Is Narendra Modi powerful being?
Yes, definitely.
Why he is powerful being?
So he is the head of the state and he represents 1.31
Only head of the state. Actually, Manmohan Singh was also head of the state. Then, who is more powerful? At least, even if we consider the time lag, who in your opinion is more powerful?
So power also depends upon ability to use the authority.
Where power lies? Is in muscles or it is in people?
People.
People. Where you are followed by people, you are
That's
powerful.
power.
If you are not followed by people, you are powerless. Even if your muscles are the muscles of
Yes,
elephant,
yes.
it is powerless. So, then which power you expecting?
Power of people.
Power of people. So, you would be planning to enter into political scenario in future.
I have not thought that if I get opportunities, I will definitely.
Okay, let me ask you one very simple question. That if you are moving into the forest, a very dense forest, and suddenly a tiger appears before you, and you are armless, you are having a weapon with you, and the tiger is super tiger, then what would be your response?
So I'll be.
You are just alone in the forest, dense forest.
No
one
weapon.
is with you.
No
weapon is with you.
So I'll be standing ideal, I say. But I can do it.
That means the rest of the thing would be done by tiger.
Yeah. Because even if I run, he will definitely catch me. So best way to see being ideal and think of what you want to think at the last moment. Of
But I don't think that the people who read fictions
Yes.
are so lacking so many options. You can be presenting so many options.
So to me, actually, recently there was a case. What you
Because
presented to me.
here you immediately came to reality, but you indulge in reading the fictions. So in what way the administration would be getting benefited on account of your fictional knowledge?
So as I see, fiction allows us to see the dreams. For example, the development of cities or development of even area must first imagine how the development will be and in what ways the development will help the people. So if you lack the imagination, you cannot work upon that. So I'll say the fiction help us to imagine better.
Do you think that if the epidemic of corona expands to some greater degrees, would the government be declaring emergency?
No sir, the emergency cannot be declared on the
And if such scenario emerges in future, so what government should do, especially union government and state government?
So in long-term solution is to improve upon our healthcare system that we can learn from the Kerala model of healthcare. We have seen how Kerala cope up very easily with the Nipah virus. But the same thing happened in UP and Bihar where health services are very poor. Then there will be a problem. So, and these kind of viruses, not just a coronavirus, the new viruses may become, we have seen that every new virus comes in decade or within 5 years. So best bet is to improve upon our healthcare services.
Do you think that these epidemics are appearing after every regular intervals? You said already that after 10 years or 5 years, because there was Nipah, there was SARS, there was swine flu, etc. So, should we be considering that it is a conspiracy, big conspiracy, by some anthropos?
So there could be, but there is no further evidence to that. Even if the coronavirus...
You must have read some fictions like such plot.
So, yeah, there is always a case for this kind of activities that some anti-national elements may have released the virus, but we haven't found any evidence. At least in this mainstream media, I don't know whether the security
In
agency
what
has
way corona would be affecting India?
So corona has multiple effect on India. Economical impacts, we have already seen the economic impacts of corona. The share markets are on the share markets already falling down. Then this poultry industry, their chicken and meat industry is already on the downturn. We are seeing the reports, and then supply chain has disturbed from China to India, and there is a there is a fear among the masses. That could be a problem.
You belong from Maharashtra, so you must be well aware of Belgaum issue. What is it?
So Belgaum issue is a boundary issue between the Karnataka and Maharashtra. The Maharashtra says the Belgaum belongs to Maharashtra state and Karnataka says opposite wise. Belgaum along with the Khairnar issue. And the issue is pending in a Supreme Court since years. And there will be.
So if you were the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, so what measures would be taken by you or would have been taken by you so that the issue of Belgaum would be resolved?
So I think this is more of political issue which Supreme Court can of course settle, but politically it should try to settle. So Chief Minister of Maharashtra and Chief Minister of Karnataka can settle down, can come to consensus, but there should be a flexibility. We cannot expect that Karnataka will directly give up whole Belgaum to Maharashtra.
There had been the governments of the same political parties, but still they didn't resolve the issue. So we can be terming it as a lack of political will.
Sir, these issues have been embedded now in people. If even if political decision, political leaders take the decision, then if people not accept it, then they fear that their vote will be lost. That's why there is no solution on this.
Considering the current political scenario, economic scenario, and some strategic scenarios around the world, we must say that the relevance of NAM has been no more. That means it has no relevance today. So why we should be continuing with the membership of NAM? Should we be dissolving it?
So NAM is a multinational organization of almost now 110 countries. So it is very large organization, and we cannot say that it doesn't have any relevance for India, particularly India. We are waiting for the permanent seat at the United Nations Security Council, and if we get the support of these NAM members, then it will be very beneficial for India, as well as rising of multipolar world where we are now seeing the more disputes in USA, China, as well as India, China, India, Pakistan. Then NAM could play a role of moderator in that.
Okay, but India, though, is a member of many organizations around the world, but it has not impacted in any way, which could be leaving the imprint that India is a great country, India is a powerful country. This is what my assumption is. So what India should do something great, that it would be leaving its impact and it would be realizing the dream of our PPJ sir, that India should be a superpower by 2020. What measures should we, or what ways we should adopt that India would be leaving its impact on the world?
So it is true that many organizations, India's impact is not as compared to its size and its military.
Yes, yes, yes.
But because there are several reasons behind it, in our diplomacy, even there is a shortage of manpower. There are many institutions such as the World Maritime Organization where India does not even represent its own interest very regularly. So we must avoid all this. Then on largest, we must open new embassies in Africa and Southern Asia, Southern America, where new investors coming up. We haven't done that still.
Women's empowerment has been the major program, social program, cultural program in India since many years, but still it is not getting success. The emancipation movement was started during the times of British. Then after independence, we started the movement of empowerment, but we are not getting success. That at least after 70 years of independence, the women are still facing the problem. So, what in your opinion is plaguing the movement? In what way the movement should be realizing its dream, its objective of empowerment of women?
So empowerment movement, I'll say we can see there is a gap between India and Bharat. If you see the urban women, it's very much developed, very much empowered in many sense. But in the rural areas, the women are not empowered in social and economic sense. The women empower comes foremost from the economic independence that we must gather. But unfortunately, our women participation rate in our employment is very low, absolutely low at around 21 to 22%. And it is not only that men are not allowing women to work in, but I've seen the cases where women don't say want to work. Their thought process is they will get married and they will relax at home. So this kind of attitude must go change, I say.
Our political scenario is, I think, a result of absence of democracy within the parties. Because parties are running on the dynastic lines rather than running on the democratic lines.
Yes.
So we are finding the political scenario all over the country. Is it true?
Yes, sir. Many of our parties are dynastically oriented party, and there's a lack
Because International Congress has become a dynastic party. Bahujan Samaj Party dynastic.
Shiv Sena.
Shiv Sena dynastic party. Maharashtra Narendra dynastic party. NCP, your NCP dynastic party. Because you are belonging to Maharashtra, so I say you are the NCP. Then Trinamool Congress dynastic party, the TMC dynastic, DMK dynastic. So wherever we are finding the names of the parties, these are the dynastic parties. So the truer element who can be a dominating element in politics, and it can be truly bringing change, it will be bringing the change, is not allowed to enter into political arena because the political families are dynastic. Personalities are holding the positions. What is your opinion?
Nepotism in politics is one of the biggest problems facing by Indian democracy, I say, because it inhibits the growth of internal party as well and democracy in general. But if you see, there are so many dynastic parties, but there is also positive step in case of BJP, which is I'll say the more or less dynastic. And then our new parties coming up such as AAP or Bhim Army, which are not dynastic in nature. And ultimately people has to decide whether they want to elect the dynasties. If they don't, then these parties will ultimately go down.
This is very soon you will be entering into the civil services. So after 5 years, how can visualize, envisage your future?
My future? Or
Yes, your future.
So I envisage myself as very positively influencing individual who works for the empowerment of people as a civil servant who understand his responsibilities and his duties and work accordingly.
If the government has selected you as the civil servant, then which qualities the government would have found in you so that it has selected?
So knowledge, honesty, integrity, and imagination and smartness.
Okay. In simple terms, how can you be defining leadership?
So leadership for me is to motivate people for work.
Motivate people. But motivating in which way?
Motivating in positive way so that they can achieve up to their potential.
Many officers believe that by intimidating their subordinates, they will be performing good works or realizing the objectives, and they continuously intimidate their subordinates when they are working in positions of district collector, when they are working in position of superintendent of police, chief executive officer of the Jilla Parishad. Do you think that intimidation on the subordinate officials or the continuous pressure on them would be realizing the truer objective of the administration?
No sir, intimidating actually decreases the productivity of any leader. What we thought in engineering is to increase the productivity of people so that the work can be efficiently taken out. For that you require constant support, give them guidance and ask about their problems. because people don't know what their potential is, and leader is the one who tell them their potential is much higher. See what they are doing, they can do better.
You are more engineer or leader?
I'll say leaders.
Leaders. Because leader can be engineer, but not every engineer would be a leader.
Yes.
Huh? This is what you want to say.
So my work as a project engineer is more of a leader with engineering knowledge, because I need to take work out from the people rather than go and do work myself. I do that, but my work is to take the work out from the people so that project is done properly.
In your profile you have written that a small scale business venture you start.
Yes.
So what type of business?
So during my engineering college, I started the tuitions, engineering tuitions for foreign students in my college, which helped me and 5 to 6 people to complete their engineering by their own self.
So you are only one person or there are friends?
No, we had a team of 5 to 6 people. I started that and I employed that people.
Okay, so what is the condition of the startup in India? So it is also one of the startup.
Yes, it is startup.
So what is the overall condition of the startup in India in today's current?
So India is the third largest startup in the world. There are more than 10,000. I don't remember the exact number, but there are many startups in India right now, and it is a good thing that many of the new youth, they are going for the startup rather than taking an employment. Their first preference is to start the startup, and that will be a very great thing for India, I'll say.
So any business can be called as a startup?
So any business cannot be called as a startup. For example, we are doing the brokerage business, or it is not cannot term as a startup.
If the business is already working, going on, let me say, operation, how can we be saying it's startup business?
And just like that, 2 or 3 years back, the Home Minister statement that pakoda, who can make a pakoda, it is also a business.
So making a pakoda is a business, but to convert it into a startup, you should start the chain of the pakodas all over the country. Then it will call the good startup, I'll say. It will have the definite strategy for the revenue generation and the business growth. That will be a startup.
So your first preference is IFS.
Yes.
So how do you look India's neighborhood policy?
So India's neighborhood policy, the Act East policy, I'll say, it is good step, but we should have done this many years ago. We just had the Look East policy. Now we have converted the Act East policy, and now we are going for the Act Further East in Russia's Far East region. That will be very beneficial for our energy security. Act East policy will be beneficial for our Northeast development, as well as improving the ties with Asian nations, to which we have the one of the highest trade volume, around $80 billion. So that will be very beneficial. And then policies with the Nepal and Sri Lanka and Bangladesh are of concerns as well, because there is rising China factor. So this should be collected.
Do you think domestic factor also affect foreign policy?
Yes, sir, definitely. Domestic factors affect the foreign policy, especially with our neighborhoods such as China, Pakistan. Pakistan, we see we involve the Pakistan in almost every election and almost every issue. So that definitely affect the political ties with the neighborhood.
But in positive way or negative?
So most with Pakistan, we have seen that it affects mostly in negative way, because people are not able to get the on table with the Pakistan.
That we have enacted CA like the CA like acts. These would be the issue of their campaigning in Pakistan.
Yes.
Is even Iran last week statement?
Yes, the CA has a wider implication in our foreign policy, because in Bangladesh we had very good relations, but then there is a problem due to the CA.
So the government should withdraw the CA.
No, I will not say that. It is up to government, but there is a problem in foreign policy because of that. That must be looked upon.
If you are the, suppose, the foreign diplomat in Bangladesh, how you handle this situation?
So my formal stand will be CA is a very internal issue of India. So Bangladesh should not interfere, or they should not worry about it, because we are not targeting directly Bangladesh.
When your personal opinion would be different from the government, still you would be saying, see, following this policy.
So my job will, as a diplomat, my job is to represent government of India and not myself. So my individual opinion doesn't matter when I do the duty, I'll say.
So it doesn't create dilemma situation.
Yes, sir, it does create a dilemma, but we have to cope up with many situations.
Ministers resign when they are in difference with the Prime Minister or the other ministers. So officials should.
Civil service is the steel frame of India, and there are many issues where civil servant may not agree with the government. But resignation is not only one solution, I'll say. Because government changes every 5 years, if the civil servant goes on changing every 5
You
years,
said the civil servant may not agree with the government.
or
Why he should not agree with the government?
Tell some incidences.
Why he should not agree?
so on individual level, I'll say maybe he may not agree with the government, or because there's
But when he works in the capacity of the officer, he does not remain an individual. He becomes the part of the government. When you are government, you should follow the policy of the government.
Yes.
There is no your own policy. It is the policy of the government. Your individual begins at home.
Yes.
You cease to be individual when you enter the government arena. So why there should be the
Yes.
difference? So some officials in the administration are considering themselves as the government or at par with the government in the policy making or in the thinking. So they are resigning from the government. We have some examples. We shouldn't be telling their names.
Yes.
But this is what. So
Swapnil,
Yes.
what is the ultimate aim of your life?
So my ultimate aim of my life is to give up to the society which has helped me. My individual experience is society is very positive. If you ask for help, society will help you, and then it is your duty to help back to society what they are given in highest potential in camp.
Tell me some incidences that in the past life you already helped the society.
So I worked for Bhumi because of that reason, because NGO provided me the chance of.
that means to work the society we need an NGO.
Yes, of course.
Sir, we cannot.
Without NGO we can't be helping society.
No, sir. With this conclusion we cannot draw. But society is not just a government or NGO. It is a individual itself, and government or NGO or any other thing is a individual creation. So we cannot say that only one thing is needed or one thing is not needed.
Why you expect that you will be the successful aspirant?
So I've been. I know myself that I will be successful. That's only the.
And if you do not get the success in this service, then what would be your response? What you will be doing?
So civil service is not just end for me. Even if I do not get selected, I'll try my best to get selected in the civil service. But it's just one way of achieving my dream or achieving my vision, I'll say. If I do not get selected, it's okay. I'll try again. But then I'll take the another path.
What success means to you?
So success for me is, I'll say, to get a power. That's
Power. You are power hungry person. Power hungry person. Okay. We are wishing you very, very best success, grandeur success. Okay. Thank you, Swapnil. Have a nice day.
Can I go?
Yes.